How much time in your life do you think you have to make the conscious decision to be either happy, sad, angry, or at peace? I think you'll be surprised. We are constantly bombarded, especially on social media, by people with so much anger and vitriol against another faction. A lot of the time it's the English, because everybody hates the English. The other day there was a young girl, she must have been about 20 years old, on social media, on YouTube, blaming the English for every ill under the sun. She was a very, very attractive young Irish lass, but she was just giving out this hatred. The hatred was in her eyes, in her voice. And I thought, it was such a shame. She shouldn't have all this hatred. But if you have got this hatred, once you've channeled it, put it to one side. Be happy. Be at peace. Let me just tell you how much time you've got to make the conscious decision yourself whether you spend your life happy, sad, angry or at peace. And just remember, you don't get long at this, you know, and it's going away day by day. And at the end of the day, you need to look back and think, I enjoyed that. That was great. I'm at peace and I'm ready to be off. Say you live for 80 years. It used to be 70 years and 10, but everybody's living a bit longer now. So let's say 80 years. That's 29,200 days. Say you start having opinions that kind of take up your time and become part of your life at 20. That leaves you with 21,900 days. Say you sleep for 8 hours a day, a third of the day. That now leaves you 14,600 days. Are you following me? Let's say you work for 50 years, 40 hours a week, 48 weeks a year. That's 1,920 hours a year times by 50. That's 96,000 hours in your life. That equals 4,000 days. Now let's say you can only be angry about 50% of the time you're at work because you're occupied by work most of the time. So that leaves you 12,600 days when you can decide to be happy, sad, angry or at peace. See how it's coming down? Now you've got your happy days, those days where you're happy and really you haven't got any control over it. Circumstances take you away from yourself. You've got your birthdays, holidays, just time with friends where you're happy, where you're so preoccupied that you haven't got the time to be researching social media, to be forming views, to be forming speeches, to put over the internet, to show your vitriol. Saying that that's about 400 days. Trust me on this, I've worked it out. What about your sad days? Sad days where you're ill, family members are ill, you lose family members. All these things come in a lifetime and there's nothing you can do about it. They're there. They happen. But they don't happen that often. Really, sad days where you have no choice over your feelings, only about 100 days a year. That leaves you now with 12,100 days where you can decide whether to be happy or sad, angry or at peace. So there you have it. Out of 29,200 days of life, you only have 12,100 of those where you have got the ability, the right, the power to decide whether to be happy, sad, angry or at peace in the moment. But it doesn't quite end there, because you have to take in this information, don't you? You have to go on social media and research and assess your views and form opinions. You have to take this information in. Mainstream media, social media, the telly, the radio, the internet. So let's just say, let's be generous And let's just say that's, say, an hour a day. So if we start assessing all this stuff when we're 20 years old, that's 21,900 hours in our life. That comes to 912.5 days, but let's round this down and be generous and say 910 days. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, that we have approximately 11,200 days of our life from birth to death, 29,200 days. We have that brief time to decide whether to be happy, sad, angry, or at peace. And I know which one I'd like. We can dedicate our stuff. I'm not saying it's wrong. We can dedicate ourselves to a cause that we feel so strongly about. But I do advocate for time being a healer of the mind, a healer of the spirits, a healer of the body. We need to be at peace. We need to be happy. We cannot be unhappy all the time. You've got to have more time being happy than angry or sad. You've got to have more time being at peace in your own head. I see so many people nowadays, especially on social media, who kind of dedicate their life to the hatred of others. We're seeing it on the streets of London now every week. We're seeing it on the streets of countries all over the world every week. We see it in conflict all over the world every week. The world is going to hell in a handcart, but each of us is an individual who has a certain amount of control over our own feelings and our own future. But like I've just shown, that time is only brief. So when you are climbing on the back of your particular ideological horse, just remember to give yourself time. It goes so quickly. One day you will wake up and you'll be 60 or 70 like me. And then you will think, wow, there's so much I wanted to do. I've not given myself the time. The thing is, a lot of the things you want to do in youth aren't things that your body, unless you're very lucky, can do in old age. Options are closed. That's gone. All those mountains you wanted to climb, all those bungee jumps you wanted to do. Don't just dedicate yourself so much to worrying about others, being angry at others for their views, because their views are as sincere as yours and probably as well-meaning. People in general aren't evil. So the people you're railing against have views that they believe in good faith with good intentions. Just leave yourself the time. I'm lucky I can look back and think. Yes, I was a political activist when I was young. I have opinions now where I will just debate anybody over anything, especially if I don't know that much about it, because I can get myself in all sorts of messes. But I'm just one of those people who just has to have his say. But I spend a lot of my time at peace, and I'm ready. I am. I'm 70 in about 2 months. And I've no regrets and I've no trepidation about what's to come, because I've spent a lot of my time at peace. So kids, by all means, get on your particular hobby horse, shout and scream, wave banners. But just remember, every second you've got that hatred for others in your heart, that's one more second towards the end of your life. That's one more second not available. It's not available. That availability will never come back. Just over 11,000 days of your life where you can truly say, right, it's my decision whether I'm happy, whether I'm at peace, my decision. And then days run out pretty quick, you know. So get out there and be happy. It's a good feeling. And I know there will be people in the comments saying, but those figures are wrong, and you said this and you said that, and that's not right and this is not right. Look, darlings, I know this isn't supposed to be accurate. It's not a thesis. This is just, those figures are just a vehicle to get my point across. The point being, make sure you get more, or at least as much out of life as you put in. Because time flies by, and before you know it, that time isn't available. Eat, drink and be happy, for tomorrow we die. And on that thought, we shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.